Welcome to the Alpine Church of Spiritual Living. I'm going to be reading the thought for the week, and those of us in the room here join me as I get down to the bottom in the bold area. To have and experience a prosperous new year and life takes intention and a personal choice. We humans have a tendency to become complacent and desire attachment to the status quo. But to live a prosperous, successful life takes branching out into new vistas. It takes having a sense of purpose beyond the mundane day-to-day activities. Our circumstances are the effects of our past and present actions. That old saying still rings true. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always had. The natural progression of life is forward, not backward or stagnant. Therefore, develop a sense of curiosity. Open your mind and heart to accept the truth of your being. You are a spiritual being having all the qualities of God within you. Take the stance to acknowledge and develop these qualities, such as love, peace, wholeness, order, joy, abundance, beauty, balance, wisdom, unity, power, and freedom. Take out a notebook or journal and begin now to take a deep personal stock of your habits and expectations. Recognize and admit where and how you have been holding yourself back, giving yourself excuses for remaining and performing debilitating habits. Then go within and commune with your higher self. That is always available and eager to show you where and how you can broaden your horizons. Expect to learn new things, meet new people, perform and give more of yourself, capital S, than ever before. Say with me, I now accept it is my spiritual duty to be prosperous. I have a clear and firm awareness of the true nature of my being, and I rejoice letting go of the old to expect unplanned, life-enriching events to occur to and through me now. So we have rolled over into 2022. The Christmas decorations are most likely down. They're still in the works at my house. Didn't any of you have an epiphany this last week? You know, January 6th, that's what it's called and celebrated in the Christian tradition. That's when we recognize that the Magi came to worship and give honor to the baby Christ that was born. It also means Epiphany means a moment of sudden revelation or insight. A moment of sudden revelation or insight. Have any of you had that? Have any of you had an epiphany in your life? Something that just hit you, just boom. It's when this divine idea comes to us that's been there all the time. That's what's so wonderful about it, you see, is that when it happens to us, and this is my expression, if it hits me, I'll go like, well, duh, why didn't I see this before? And I get credit, I guess is the word I use instead of blame, for teaching that word to Adeline, my 3-year-old granddaughter, because she goes around saying, well, duh. And I guess I'm told that, well, Grandma taught you that, didn't she? And I'm going to confess something to you that happened to me, actually just last night, that I believe is similar to an epiphany. For several months now, I have misplaced, can't find, was consternated about losing, quote unquote, my Lamsa edition of the Bible. And I remember because I have a very specific place, I put it on the shelf in my office, and I remember taking it off of there, putting it in the living room, because I wanted to read the book of Revelations. And I read more frequently out in the living room than I do in the office. And then, life happened and things go on, and then I realized, I want to read that. Let me get that out. Well, where I put it, I thought, on the table, wasn't there. And so it just well, how could I have misplaced that? I mean, it seems odd. But I just let it go, didn't think about it much. every once in a while it would come up. In fact, Peter, when you mentioned the Lamb's Bible last week, I was still consternated about it. I'm like, where's mine? And I even got to the point where I asked Burke, my son who had just passed in September, when I lost my keys, he helped me find my keys. And so I asked Burke, I said, Burke, where's my Bible? Show me where my Bible is. And he came back to me and said, I don't know what it looks like, Mom. And so I explained to him, it's a big, thick, brown book, very deep, and it's got my name on the front of it. It has the imprinted on it, and it's got July 26, 2002, when I was given it by this congregation to when I started my ministry here. And okay, so then I let that go. Well, putting Christmas away last night, I have to back up just a tiny bit. We were dog sitting Bailey over Christmas because Lindsay took Adeline up to Reading to be with her parents, and that we forgot the dog bed. So I had to buy a new dog bed for the dog. And the dog bed has been sitting in the living room by that table. And I wanted to get it out of the way, so I shoved it underneath the table, and it was catching on something. So I got down on my hands and knees and looked beyond the table, and actually it was behind the couch, and lo and behold, what did I find? My Bible. It just felt so good. It just went, there you are. And you see, it was there the whole time. The whole time it was there, waiting for me to discover it. That's what the divine is doing within us. It's there all the time, waiting for us to have this epiphany of the Christ Spirit reborn in us again. Every Christmas, we reinstitute, we remember that this Christ child is being rebirthed in me again, in its newness, in its wholeness. And that divine idea never goes away. But it takes our recognition of it in order for it to be available in our lives on a conscious level. So remember the epiphany, a sudden recognition, insight, and discovery. It's kind of fun to have them, isn't it? Sometimes we might even chide ourselves by saying, it's so obvious. How could I have not known that? Our topic this morning is Prosperity is a Choice, and I am basing this month's talks on Roy Eugene Davis's book, The Spiritual Basis of Real Prosperity. And I hope you remember what really prosperity means. It's not just having money in the bank, but it is a successful life, which includes life-affirming relationships, creative endeavors, health, and a positive financial status. So we're talking about the success in all of these areas in our lives when we're talking about prosperity. We don't want any of those to be left out. And as I've said many times, everything is created twice. First, in the unseen realm, in that spirit realm, and then it gets reflected out into our experience, into the manifested form, into the physical form. And each of us has a responsibility to go within and become familiar, to know what is this unseen energy that is within me. What does it want to generate? What does it want to experience? And that's why I'm suggesting that life is not stagnant, as I said in the thought for the week. Life is always moving forward, progressing. And so that's what we need to do. We need to remember to let go of all of these habits, all of these things that at one time served us. But we're ready to move forward. How many of us have thought about, this is the beginning of 2022. What's in store for us this year? A couple years ago, when 2020 came up, we were like, oh, I wonder what this year's going to be. And boy, did we get a rug pulled out from us, didn't we? And we have navigated through all of these changes that life has thrown us, have we not? I would say that it's very important to focus on the positive of what 2020 brought us, of what 2021 has brought us, and what 2022 will be bringing us. We are letting go of a lot of things that no longer serve us. And I want you to recognize that it's very important that we step into this new year, that we do it not with a sense of hesitation, not with a sense of, oh my God, what's the other shoe gonna drop, or anything like that, but to know that we are confident in the understanding that within me, there is this whole presence of the power of the Christ, of the power of the Holy Spirit. This is an energy that is living its life through me. And so I am doing it without fear, without trepidation, without hesitation, because I know that it is the Father within me that is doing the work, and I trust it. I trust it to show me where I can let go and where I can move forward. This is a new year, and we're stepping into it with expectancy, with high hopes, with the knowledge that I am prosperous, that I am successful, that I have everything within me to deal with, to handle on a successful basis what comes up for me. Now, it may be in divine timing, it may be at spirit speed, which is that unknown area, but it is up to us to keep the goal of knowing that something fabulous, magnificent is unfolding for me this year. And I don't know what it is, and it's okay that I don't know. Because I have the trust and the confidence and the expectation that this Father within knows, and it is going to live through me. That I am going to get my, as Emerson said, bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circus and let it operate through me. Last week, if you were here, I handed out a paper that had the 12 qualities of God on it, and I asked you to study it, look at it, and meditate on what quality or two might be of interest to you to emulate for this coming year. And so you all, wrote down what you would like to highlight. And if you weren't here, I've got more copies here today. And I just realized, too, I should tell Mike to put it up on our website, so if people are watching, as they're on the internet, that they can pull up our alpinechurchofspiritualliving.org website and pull it up there. So I'll have asked Mike to do that. So prosperity is a personal choice. We have free will. We can do, we can think, we can expect whatever the field is open to us. I'm suggesting that you do it with a smile on your face, with eager anticipation of what the goodness can be coming up for me. I turned the calendar over on my Louise Hay calendar this morning. Did anybody have that in their home where they see the... No? Okay. She has, Louise Hay writes affirmations, basically, positive affirmations. The affirmation on today's calendar was, I see with love and hear with compassion. Nice. I see with love and I hear with compassion. And what I wanted to point out initially is that what I see with love and I hear with compassion, and you start with yourself. You start with me, that I see the love in me. And I hear, the hearing is the voice within, with compassion. You know, we have this opportunity in life to move through it, and granted, we are not going to be 100% spot on with every single move we make, with every single decision that we make, with every single opportunity that comes up for us. We will be able to, at one point, look back and go, could have been a little bit better at doing that part of it. And so we learn. We grow. We shed what no longer serves us so that we can step forward into the new. And so we want to be kind to ourselves. We want to know that each and every one of us at every moment is innocent. That we are always doing our very best that we can do. And the more, though, that we highlight and emphasize this beautiful divine self that is within us, that the divine energy that wants to lead us, that wants to guide us, that wants to show us where our keys are, where our Bible is, or whatever the daily consternation is, that all we need to do is go in and ask and expect that we will receive in the right and perfect way, in the right and perfect time. And so we all have this ability. I was pulling out one of the things on my bookshelf that just hit me is I haven't shared too much of my Rumi poems with you lately. And so I wanted to share this one, and I'm going to read it slow because it takes a while to percolate. It's entitled The Cup. The cup wants to be lifted and used, not broken, but carried carefully to the next. The cup knows there is a state for beyond this. That one comes with much more vast awareness. The cup looks still, but it acts in secret to help. Sometimes you pour cup to cup. Nothing happens. Pour instead into your deep ocean self without calculation. If eyesight blurs, find a railing to follow. We are these deep cups of the infinite. And as sometimes we miss the mark, sometimes if our eyesight gets blurred, know that there is help, there is a railing, there is a support that brings you back to focus, back to clarity, back to receiving this infinite, infinite essence of energy so that we can experience it, that we can live it, so that we can see the love and hear the compassion and be it at our center. That's what I know each of us can experience in 2022 as we are leading this prosperous new year. With joy, with divinity, with assurance, and with absolute peace. Namaste.